Hi guys, you're watching the Something Else show. I'm Hana, and today I'm going to talk to someone really interesting. If you want to go to the biggest boat party ever, he's your guy. Ladies and gentlemen, Jason Beukema.
Hi, Hannah. How are you?
Hi Jason, how are you?
Great. Thank you for having me in this hot tub here.
Yeah, well, glad you could come, and this is kind of a habitat for you, right?
Yeah.
Natural
Yeah,
habitat.
It's water. It's wet. It's fun, and we're grooving.
We're grooving. It's fun. It's wet. It's like all of the above, actually.
Absolutely, yeah.
I have like a lot of questions popping into my mind right now, but the first one and probably the most obvious one is how the hell did you come up with the idea of having this big boat party? Like you were working 9 to 5 and then one day you just like remembered like this, yeah, I'm gonna do the group cruise. How did that happen?
I did have a 9 to 5 after I graduated college. I worked at a big Fortune 100 company in Atlanta, and I hated it.
Why did you hate it?
Because it was cubicle nation. Everyone was in their own little box, and everybody hated their jobs, and people were getting fired left and right, and it was just a negative atmosphere, all about money and just
So you want to tell me?
efficiency and like all the crap.
So you want to tell me that there are actually people that are not working inside of a jacuzzi like me?
I know there's some people work in offices, yeah.
Oh wow!
Not in jacuzzis.
Great notion. I should remember that. Okay. So please continue.
I had a mentor of mine at the time. I hired a coach, and he said, find something you love to do and find a way to get paid to do it. And if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. So I was thinking about what I love to do, and I love to go on vacations. So I figured I have to figure out a way to get paid to go on vacations. So I found a school in San Francisco called the International Tour Management Institute. So I went out there. I took the course, I came back, I got fired from my job, and then I was in the travel industry. And I started taking groups of people on motor coach tours around North America. So my specialty was Alaska, I did Canadian Rockies and historic America tours on the East Coast and national parks tours out west. And then I used to move between Atlanta, LA, and Seattle during different parts of the year.
Okay.
Fun thing, my friends were like, put a trip together and we'll go. And I was like, all right, well, I don't want to put my friends on a bus, but cruises are kind of cool. And I had been on a couple cruises and they're all families and old people, and the music and the nightlife sucks.
Exactly. So that
It
that's
still does to this day, in my opinion. And I just had this vision of what it would be like to go on a cruise and have all my friends and really good people, and that was the idea 20 years ago.
was that like the pilot cruise? Like you took your friends on a cruise?
Yeah.
That was like a party, big 3-day party, right? Was that like a test, some kind of a test for you?
Yeah, so the first several years were tests. So the first one was 125 people on a 3,000 passenger ship. So we had, the group cruise that was like partying, and then we had families and old people basically. And when I started it, I had no money. I didn't know anybody in the cruise industry. I didn't know what to pay. And I just had this idea to rent out the entire cruise ship. And so I put a business plan together to charter a cruise ship in 5 years and basically double it every year. So do 125, 250, 500, 1,000, 2,000, which is the smallest cruise ship. So long story short, it took me 7 years to do it. And since then, we've done 28 full ships to date. And
Wow. If we fast forward now, you have done like 28 full ships, right?
Yep.
And how many DJs do you know today?
Thousands. Thousands. We've booked out thousands. So, yeah.
Which one was like this surprisingly down to earth when you met him or her?
Probably the most down to earth one, I would say Cascade.
Oh.
Yeah, Ryan's just a really, really cool, very chill, like just down to earth, always down for photos, and he doesn't drink. He's just a good dude.
Is it? This is kind of a personal question, but do you drink when you work? Do you drink on the cruises?
I used to. until I had a few episodes on Group Cruise. And as a leader, I can't be the one who's out there shit-faced and, leading a team. And we work so hard throughout the year to plan. 2 years in advance we're working now. And, everything is kind of culminating into that moment. And I can't be a leader and be, drunk and running around trying to, be in charge. So years ago, I stopped drinking. So I actually don't even drink like the entire month leading up to Group Cruise or on board the ship until the last night, and then I
of course
drinks.
I hope more than few, because you definitely deserve it after that long time of not drinking. But
yeah, that's a lot of work. A lot.
But how do you reconcile those two things inside your mind, like working for a party industry, in a party industry, and where there's a lot of alcohol going on, and you personally like not being a fan of that type of lifestyle anymore?
You mean in terms of drinking?
In terms of drinking, yeah, and partying hard.
Yeah, I don't party that hard anymore like I used to back in the day. But for me, it's not really that hard to not drink. It's not. I've actually gone a year without drinking before, and last year I didn't drink for like 5-6 months. So it's not too difficult for me personally. I have pretty good, restraint, I guess. I don't feel like alcohol owns me, if you will, or that I don't have control over it.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I don't drink and
I get
wild
it
and have fun, but I feel like I have decent control over it.
Yeah, I get it. I had like a personal experience working in the festival industry and
really?
party nightlife
Yeah.
industry, so to say. And that's a funny thing. When I used to work and being surrounded by it all the time, I wasn't drinking. And then when I stopped working at the party industry, I started like drinking a little bit more. So so it's kind of a a paradox, if we can call it that. So I'm interested in a lot of stuff when it comes to Group Cruise. It has been 20 years since you started
20 years ago,
working on that. And do you have some kind of anecdotes that you will be able to share with us in terms of things happening on a boat that big, on a cruise that big, and something that's like safe to say, safe to share?
So when you say anecdotes, what do you mean by anecdotes?
Well, like just freestyle, whatever pops into your mind.
It's probably one of the funniest places you can go because people are just so outrageous in terms of like their self-expression and their costumes. And the very first Group Cruise 20 years ago, I remember this vividly. There was a captain's dinner, which is like the formal night on a regular cruise ship, and there was about 30 people that were late to dinner, and I knew who they were because I knew everybody on the cruise at that time. And I'm like, oh god, they're gonna come in and make an entrance. So like 30 people come in, and everyone's dressed in like tuxedos, families and old people and all this stuff, and 30 people come in like cross-dressed. So guys are wearing like these dresses and heels and makeup, and the women are wearing like these suits and like parading around the formal dining room and like on the grand staircase taking photos. And somebody came up to me and said, how did you end up getting the class clown of every school on board a cruise ship? And I think it's kind of like that. It's just like a bunch of people who are just free and clowning around and just having fun and kind of no holds barred. And we do theme parties on Group Cruise now, so there's daytime themes and nighttime themes, and people really get into it. And just the hilarity of it, the spontaneity of it, the creativity. People give gifts. People just are outrageous. Like, it's just hilarious. Like, you don't know what you might open the elevator door might open and there's people doing Twister in the elevator, or
why not?
You see Big Bird and like a giraffe, and it's just like, what in the hell is this plan it. Like,
But how did you get to that point? There's a difference between like having a good party and making like a hilarious party that no one's gonna forget if they remember it at all.
Right.
How were you able to make that kind of a party? What was that unique thing that made Group Cruise be an unforgettable experience?
I think one thing that we're really good at is just listening to our captains, as we call it. So we're very, very focused on listening and adapting and changing and innovating and trying new things. And the theme party ideas started in the beginning, but were evolved and changed, and now we have a whole committee that comes up with the themes, and it's just a lot of the ideas come from the community of people like you that are just like, why don't you do this on the ship? And I'm like, well, that's a great idea, and then we do that. And I'm meeting with 2 companies right now on the Allure of the Seas, which we're sailing on in January.
Okay.
Who want to pitch some new ideas, and that's kind of how we learn. And we're on social media and we're listening, and people are DMing us, and sometimes they send us proposals or ideas, or I'll see some skydivers and I'm like, I want to put skydivers, and I want to do this, I want to do that, and it's like,
what was the most outrageous thing or a request that you guys have received over the years?
Outrageous request. This one guy who is very wealthy, he wanted to have his yacht, which is here in Miami. He wanted to have his yacht follow the cruise ship to Labadie, which is in Haiti, where we were sailing to, I think 2 years ago. So he wanted his yacht and his captain and staff to like follow us all the way to Haiti so that he could have his boat or yacht in Haiti and we could party on it while we were there.
Oh, so he wanted like the whole cruise to go to his yacht, right?
Basically, not the whole, but like his friends or
okay.
Whoever he wanted to invite, like 100 or 200, a couple hundred people to go onto his yacht while we were there in port.
Was that like physically possible at all?
No. Well, I guess physically, sure, anything's possible.
Almost anything.
But the cruise line wouldn't allow that, because the cruise lines are all about control and safety and security. And, everyone. Right. It's actually the safest festival or safest event you'll ever go to in your life, because everyone's background checked by U.S. Customs and Immigration. If you have a warrant out for not paying your parking tickets, you're going to get flagged. Like it's very secure and it's very safe. So there's cameras everywhere. The community of people kind of looks out for themselves. Guys are respectful. Women are free to dress how they want, knowing that they're not going to get grabbed, and we don't put up with anything like that. It's a very unique community in that regard, in terms of just respect and freedom and sexiness and just being free. And there's not too many places on this world that you can do that these days.
Sure, but how does it, when you think about it, and I'm sure you have, is it a security hazard to have so many people on one boat and being responsible for each one of them and their well-being?
So I do feel some, I guess, personal responsibility, for that. But at the same time, people have to, people are responsible for themselves. It's not my responsibility to take care of everyone.
I mean, that's true.
Also, a cruise ship is extremely safe. One of the safest places you could ever go in the world. There's medical on there. There's all the things. Like I said, there's cameras everywhere, and you can't get away with really anything on board a cruise ship. And it's very, very safe for sure.
Okay, you have convinced me that it is. I want to know, when it comes to rider lists, they can be pretty crazy, pretty insane. Mm-hmm. So what was the craziest rider list that a performer has sent to you over the years? I mean, you don't have to share who it is, but just some details. They're really crazy and outrageous.
So luckily for my sake, I generally don't look at the riders, so I have a talent team that does does most of those bookings. But man, I can't really think of anything too. I mean, there's like the green colored M&Ms and like things like that. There's some silly ones that aren't really coming to my mind in terms of riders, but like shoes or socks or I don't know, just silly things like that. And the majority of the time, the artists don't even use
those
their
things.
Riders. Like,
I know.
like,
that's why I'm asking because I used to like be in the industry and I remember like just getting into the William Morris lists. I got into their database and I found a few very like crazy rider lists.
Yeah.
For example, Kanye West.
Oh yeah.
That was back in 2010, I think.
Yeah.
He wanted like on every single concert on his rider list there was like he wanted 50 pairs of white socks.
Yeah.
Like 50 pairs of white socks.
Yeah,
or
like
Lady Gaga was when she was touring in 2010. There was the Fame Monster tour. She wanted to have honey, lots of honey in each like room she was in, like great amounts of jars filled with honey.
Yeah.
So like those type of things, like
or
silly stuff.
Chocolate covered strawberries from this particular Whole Foods, or we have to cross out the riders a lot. We're not possible. And we have a good thing. We're like, we can't bring that on the cruise ship, and like that's kind of our answer. And it's like, sorry.
Okay. That's obviously something that you're allowed to say, and they will understand.
Yeah.
Something like that. But let's just switch up to another topic. You obviously travel a lot, not just with the Groove Cruise, but like personally.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Balkans? You told me that you have visited Croatia.
Croatia, yep.
And tried to go to Bosnia, right?
I did try to
have lunch in Bosnia.
Last summer, I rented a car in Croatia, and I was driving between Lake Plitvice, I think that's how you say it.
Plitvice?
Yeah, there you go. And Zagreb, and I wanted to go to Bosnia and Herzegovina.
I'm not sure what you just said, but
Bosnia and Herzegovina or something.
Okay.
I forgot how you say it.
I'm gonna try to decipher later.
That's fine. Anyways, but we were trying to get into the country, and the line getting back into Croatia was way too long, so we decided not to go. But
yeah, that's that. I mean, if it was in the summer, then it's like pretty usual thing.
Yeah, but it's such a beautiful part of the world. Like, wow, I was really, really impressed with the Balkans and like that whole area. Like, really beautiful.
But what would you say is like your favorite place on Earth, if you could pick one?
That's a tough one. My happy place, I always say, is Bali, and I've been to 81 countries or 82 countries or something like that. I've been on 180 cruises, and for animals like Galapagos, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Zambia. I used to live in Australia.
How was that?
Incredible. I didn't want to come back. I was in college. I went to uni there for a semester in Wollongong, and absolutely loved it. And yeah, it was incredible. New Zealand is incredibly beautiful.
What about Fiji? Have you ever been to Fiji?
Yeah,
You've been to Fiji. That's my lifelong wish to go to Fiji.
Yeah?
I've never been there.
Yeah, Fiji's beautiful. Actually, really, really beautiful. We were just talking about Fiji yesterday, actually, at this Tony Robbins seminar I was at, because he owns a resort in Fiji. Yeah, it's beautiful. And you know what's really big now is kava bars, and kava is from Fiji. So
right.
Yeah, so sometimes you go into like a kava bar, which are all over. I just went to one the other day in West Palm, and there was 5 or 6 of them in downtown West Palm, which was kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's a thing now, obviously.
It's definitely a thing now, yeah.
I gotta ask you something. When I went to your LinkedIn, your profile picture is you with Oprah Winfrey, and then when you click on your profile, like a lot of photos of you and Oprah, and she's laughing. She's like dying of laughter. And I have to ask you, what did you tell her to make her laugh like that?
Oh my God, I forgot. What did I say? Ooh.
You got to remember now.
Damn. Oh, that's a great question. So, oh man, it was like a meet and greet. So one of my friends was doing her VIP tour. It was like a Weight Watchers tour. And Oprah to me is like the top of the top of the top of the top.
Sure.
Like,
Of course, yeah.
she's just incredible. I would watch her Super Soul Sundays. I never watched TV, but I loved actually listening to her talk about life and spirituality and like things like that. And yeah, I don't remember exactly what I said, but the photographer captured this moment with me and her, and you know, she had her arm on my I don't know, it was magical. It really was. It was such a short interaction, but she just has such a way of connecting with people in a short period of time and making them feel good, and like,
Okay.
yeah, she's on another level.
What it looked like is like you guys know each other for like
I know, right?
half of your lives, you know, and
I know.
you're just like, no, hi, Jason, hi, Oprah. It looked to me like that.
It was that feeling too, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you are also, I mean, very good with people.
Thank you.
I mean, that's my impression of you, my first impression of you.
Thank you.
But that must be because you're a Gemini.
It's because I'm a Gemini, yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
It has to be because of a Gemini as well.
Exactly. We're just like
we're the
life of the party.
Yeah, but life of the party. Yeah, definitely. You can. I mean, you are life of the party professionally, and me like just
in hot tubs.
In hot tubs. Yeah.
You're the life of the hot tubs.
I'm the life of the hot tub. Yeah. And just tell me one more thing in terms of the future of the Groove Cruise as a brand and as a party institution. I should call it like that.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys plan on doing in the next, let's say, 5 years?
Great question. So we're working. We can't go a whole lot bigger. So the ship that we have in January is the second largest cruise ship class in the world on Royal Caribbean.
Oh, wow.
So we really can't go bigger. So there are some ideas that we're looking at that I can't share yet, that if it works for 2026 or 2027 are going to be another game changer.
Can you give us a hint or something?
No, because I don't want to jinx it. Because it's not done yet.
Okay.
No, it's not contracted yet, but you know, a lot of people go on Groove Cruise because of the music and the partying, and that's kind of what gets the new people in. But when you actually step on board the ship and are in the community and like realize what a bucket list type life moment it is, core moment that you're really gonna remember forever. That's kind of that feeling that you have. It's deep. It's transformational. I did a post about this. I want to say like a year ago. I asked like, is Groove Cruise transformational? And the amount of like comments that I got of just how Groove Cruise saved a marriage or helped their relationship with their kids when they got home, or I married 7 couples on the last Groove Cruise,
God.
which is kind of crazy. People that have met on Groove Cruise, like their life partner. Celebrating birthdays, celebrating divorces, celebrating just life in general, and it's like it's just such a deeper thing than just partying and just like that. And then we also have a foundation, and there's a whole bunch of stuff with that too.
There's definitely something in having a bunch of people together on a boat being unable to get away from each other, right?
Yeah.
So they have to sort out a lot of things.
I call it like
between
forced
them.
relationships, and it's the only event in the world where there's artist-fan interaction. So you'll see, well, Cascade didn't come on the ship. We see like John Summit, for example, on the ship, and he's just hanging out, partying with everybody else. And you know, Diplo was on the cruise last time, and they're just regular people. Like they just hang out, and you know, at most shows when artists perform at a festival, you're never going to get anywhere near them. In particular festivals, nightclubs, they're pretty much just coming in, performing, and leaving. They don't want to stay and hang out. Like But on group cruise, they can't go anywhere. So they're kind of around for
Exactly.
breakfast and they're around for lunch. And you might see them here and see them there. And they're just hanging out. So they're just normal people. And that's what makes group cruise. That's one of the many things that makes group cruise really unique.
That's amazing. So for the end, at the end, you can just like repeat us, just tell us when the next group cruise is and how many people do you expect to have on board?
So the next group cruise is January 23 to 27. It is
2025, right?
2025. And it is on Royal Caribbean's Allure of the Seas. It goes from Miami to Jamaica. So we're going to Falmouth, Jamaica. We have a big event that we're working on in Jamaica as well. And it's sold out already. We sold it out like 8 months before the event without a lineup. And
But now that you have a lineup, who's going to be on that lineup? Who is on that lineup?
Well, just the headliners are Eric Prydz, and Eric Prydz is the #1 most requested act overall in 20 years that we've had in our surveys. So I have been begging to get him. He's the only electronic artist I've ever gone to see that I cry in his set every time, and I'm just like so in my feels when he's performing, and he's just such like on another level for me.
When if you're a millennial, I can understand you because he has been around for many years.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so we have him, Nicole Mudaber, who we've been trying to get for
she's amazing
ever. James Hype, who is just on a complete rocket ship since COVID. So creative in his sets, and just you never know what unique stuff he's gonna come up with. Medusa, I think they're from Italy. Seven Lions, who's absolutely enormous in the melodic bass scene. A really cool guy. I met him a few months ago at a festival for the first time. And then we've got another like 100 artists or so, 120 artists.
Wow.
So there's 11 stages. Well, I don't know exactly. We're going to the ship today, but it's 9 to 11 stages that we're going to be activating. 24/7 music. It doesn't stop. The alcohol doesn't stop flowing for 4 straight days. And yeah, there's really nothing like it in the world.
When the cameras turn off, we're going to talk about having us on the group cruise next year. The Something Else show on the group cruise. Why not?
Sounds good.
But let's leave that to after the show. Thank you for being in my podcast.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you for inviting me to your hot tub.
Yeah, just tell me.
Thank you for the coconut.
Have you ever had a better interview in your life?
No, this is absolutely the most coconut infused.
Coconut infused interview
ever.
Yeah.
This is the wettest interview I've ever had.
The wettest and most coconut infused interview you ever had. Okay, thank you so much, Jason, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching the Something Else show, and stay with us for some more interesting interviews. Bye.